Hello and welcome to session 27 of my Pillars of Eternity Lorethrough. We are currently at Heritage Hill in Defiance Bay. It's been overrun by vessels. We've run into some revenants, some skeletons, some ghouls and darghouls, and we ran into some kind of specter of a former Knights of the Crucible commander who has some Crucible Knights enthralled. But she was too powerful for us at the time, so we'll have to join her again. Last session, we also freed the daughter of a nearby estate. Her entire family was killed, and we told her that she could leave this crypt and leave Heritage Hill safely, so hopefully she makes it. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. Hopefully, by the way, I have figured out mouse clicks and keyboard strokes, and hopefully you won't be hearing those as much, or I don't know, maybe at all. Just playing around with things. Probably should have done that earlier, but I didn't, so okay. Alright, so it was the Valtus Manor. That was where the family that turned into ghouls was, and the daughter had run to their mausoleum to hide, and we told her that she should probably be safe to leave. So we're going to head up around this way. Actually, now that we have camping supplies there, I want to take a rest.
Animancy seems to be the topic of the hour here. You've closer dealings with souls than I do. What do you think of it?
I know this is the wishy-washy answer here, but I'm not sure how to feel about it yet. I do have feelings about animancy, but none of the choices here really reflect how I feel about animancy, so I'm going to say I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. That makes the two of us. I've seen many examples of the good it might do, a cure for soul sickness, and the reading of soul lineages, but with so many accidents, the Bale Reach incident for one, they've hardly made a good impression here in the Deerwood. Well, thanks for lending an ear. I look forward to seeing where all this goes. Okay. Now, we've talked about animancy before, the manipulation of souls, and the different experiments that have been held to try and harness soul power and soul energy. Oh, I forgot to get the camping supplies up there. Heritage Hill Cemetery. Urn. Carogolan, I think this is another drug. Made from a sacred and uncommon plant that grows deep in Erglanthoth, Carogolan is the name given to a mixture typically used solely for ceremonial purposes, or else by warriors going into important battles. It is said to open one's awareness to one's place in the world, raising one's ability to recognize and react to threats. So, seems like a more intense kind of caffeine almost. Icantha is in here. Don't see many living people. Icantha. A woman bends over a roaring fireplace, feeding a splintered chair leg into it. As you get closer, you notice something unnatural about her, a certain pallor to her skin, a lack of movement beneath her flesh, even while her arms execute deft, efficient movements. And then you see the puckered flesh, ragged and bloodless, over her heart. So yeah, not living. Aloth casts a wary eye at the vampire. I sincerely hope you're not planning on asking her to join us.
It's rude to stare, you know. Don't worry. I've no mind to start anything with you. After all, I've stayed in such good shape by choosing my meals carefully.
Who are you?
A survivor, by the grace of my own careful preparations. When I heard the claws scrabbling at the door outside, I took care of matters myself. And since then, I've been careful to keep myself fresh and fed.
The fact that she is fully voiced makes me think that she's kind of important, but I don't remember her at all. Do you know what happened here?
An incredible act of animancy, of a magnitude this part of the world likely hasn't seen since Engwithan times. Someone found something very powerful and ancient, and I'd bet my own preserved life it wasn't Aldhelm or his lovely assistant.
Tell me what you know about this Aldhelm. His name barely merits repeating. He's a charlatan who liked to dig up pretty artifacts and call himself a scholar. The pity with animancy these days is just about anyone can claim to be an expert. So she said an incredible act of animancy caused everyone in this district to turn into vessels, including herself. She is some kind of vampire, but she seems to have all of her wits about her, and she chooses who she feeds on. I still don't understand why this district is full of walking corpses. She spins from the fire to face you, because someone found a way to tether their souls to their bodies, don't you see? She taps her skull with an impatient finger. So when the heart stops beating, when the blood stops flowing, their bodies still animate, and with a newfound hunger. She turns back to the fire. Those that can feed it with living flesh and essence stay strong and sharp. Those that can't degenerate quickly. I see. I truly doubt that, she smirks. It's time for me to get going. So I guess if I wanted to kill her, I would actually have to choose it. Not going to. Especially because she's probably pretty powerful. Here's some deer cap. This small, unassuming white mushroom is a common sight in the deerwood. Left out to rot, these potatoes are covered with wet, rank-smelling bruises. These stale loaves are as hard as rocks.
A simple test.
Got some prisoners in here. Something or someone snapped this candelabra in two. Spider fingers. Minor spellbind. Restore light endurance of perception +1. Who needs some gloves? Endurance. Okay. Let's talk to this prisoner here. You're not one of Icantha's servants. Please, you've got to get us out of here before she feeds on us. What happened to you? We're just groundskeepers. When the district fell into chaos, Icantha took us in, said we'd be safe until the knights got things under control. Instead, she locked us in here. Every week, one of those monsters who serves her comes in and takes one of us away. I don't know what she's doing, but sometimes we can hear the screams. Please, get us out of here. Stay here for now. Gotta make sure everything is clear. Beloved Land. Poems from Erglanfath. Let's read those now. The tree, the wind. Oh, let me just double check, make sure I haven't read this. Okay, we have not read this. So this is Beloved Land, Poems from Erglanfath. The tree, the wind. Who shall hear the voice of the wind, its beauty resplendent, unseen, intangible? Its tongue whispers the oath, I move, I carry. Always will I fly, and always will I change. For nothing is permanent, nothing escapes my grasp. Who shall call the heart of the wind? It travels swiftly, fiercely, untouchable. Its fist howls the promise. I push, I break. Never will I stop, and never will I land. All is in my domain, and all bend to my will. Who shall resist the force of the wind? Its anger presses, pushes, drives. And the tree answers its call. Yes, your voice is loud. Your name is grand. Your force is mighty. I shall not resist. I will not defy. I will bend. Your power will wash over me. You want me to bow? I will bow. But I will always stand. I will always return. I will always recover. That is my pledge. That is my promise. That is my oath. Seems like a ode here to the relationship between the tree and the wind, and how the wind is kind of all-powerful almost. Pushes, breaks, I move, I carry, carries things with it. But then the tree, and it's kind of interesting that the part of the poem that speaks about the tree is in the shape of a tree, says that I shall not resist, I will not fight, I will bend, your power shall wash over me, you want me to bow, I will bow. So the idea that the tree will bow to the wind, but it'll always stand back up in the end. So doing what it wants, but never truly giving in to just the wind. This kind of reminds me of the play Antigone. I'm going to see if I can try to remember the line here. When Creon's son is talking to him, I don't remember the exact line, but he talks about how even like the strongest trees, if they refuse to bend, then they just break. So to be a good ruler, you have to be willing to bend sometimes. Otherwise, you'll stand tall for a while until you just break and shatter apart and everything goes to hell. And this seems to kind of have that same kind of theme. If the tree said, no, I'm going to stand on my own, I'm not going to give in to your will, then the tree would break and splinter. Whereas its willingness to bend is... its willingness to bend is what keeps it alive through the windstorms and everything. So not only an ode to nature here, but it seems like a philosophy on life as well. Interesting poem here from Erglon Fath.
A simple test. That's settled.
All right, let's go talk to Icantha over here and see if she says anything about her prisoners.
You return. What have
came-
you come seeking this time?
I came across a group of people in the back room. She clucks. I hope you didn't disturb them. Rounding them up is quite the chore. Okay, still nothing. Yeah, let's see, because there might be some monsters down this way that we haven't taken care of yet. Crockware, stale foodstuffs, and once priceless vases, now chipped and cracked, fill the wagon.
Get on!
Hope the girl made it out safely. I didn't have the choice to say stay here when I spoke to her, so... Novelist. Oh, there's a lot here. What's this? Skeletal wizard. Another skeletal wizard.
Leave it to me!
As with many undead, these guys aren't very difficult when there's only a few of them, but when they pile up on you, these guys definitely just did. They are very difficult. Let's try this one again. When was the last time I saved? Yeah, it's the... God. So I realized that I had the recording pause for a little bit. I did beat that group of vessels that was there. I just needed to kind of funnel them into the ramp, and they were pretty easy to take out if they didn't surround me. And then I ran into this down here, this tower, which I posited was probably the Adra machine that was still functioning in Heritage Hill. I apologize that I missed that and that it was paused during all that. And now that we have the entire map, the entire area mapped out, we have killed everything in this area, so we're going to go tell the people in Icantha's place that they can go now. I'm guessing she's not going to be happy about this, so she might attack us. Actually, I wonder if they'll get killed by her. Let's see. Okay, so they're freed.
You return. What if you come seeking this time?
And I kind of want to kill her so she doesn't capture anybody else. But is she important for something? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read about vampires, because that's what she is, and we haven't read that yet. Probably don't have it. Yeah, we don't have it in the cyclopedia yet, so I'm going to have to look into the guidebook. So from the guidebook for vampire, vampires have had their lives unnaturally extended through necromancy. So not animancy, necromancy. Which is interesting. Huh. Okay. Though they retain most of a normal humanoid appearance, they are merely a few missed meals away from devolving into mindless monstrosities, and they know it. As vampires maintain individual personalities and memories, this morbid knowledge state may manifest itself in a number of ways. Some may become reclusive and cautious, avoiding any threats that could prematurely weaken or destroy them, and others become outgoing hedonists, seeking to enjoy every pleasure the world has to offer while they can. Sooner or later, every vampire, unless killed, will end up as a skeleton. Though vamps exist on the higher echelon of what passes for an undead hierarchy, de-evolution remains an inescapable reality of their life cycle. Because vampires require the flesh of the living, they are shunned by most civilized communities. As a result, vampires tend to live at the fringes of society, in secret, and they generally avoid daylight for fear of being recognized and attacked. However, vampires, particularly older individuals who have learned to accumulate and wield additional essence, hold a certain mystique for the living. They are people who, whether fascinated by these dangerous and exotic creatures or the ancient and new processes used to create them, enjoy their society and may agree to provide living flesh. Some will provide their own essence, while others will offer up that of an unknowing victim. It says they've had their lives unnaturally extended through necromancy, which means this is magic that brings vampires into existence, not animancy. not science. And it seems like they kind of have their wits about them, but they are on a slow or quick degradation to becoming a skeleton, moving through the ranks of Darghoul, Ghoul, Revenant, and then finally skeleton. But we know that she was kind of harvesting those people back there, keeping them prisoner. She had some monsters that did her work for her, so I think she needs to die. I hope this isn't a mistake. Let's bring Khan back here first. Yeah, there we go.
Leap!
I hope you've gotten that out of your system.
She shows nothing more than a few scratches out of your fight after your fight. Okay, so I guess we can't defeat her. Oh wait. Can we not fight her?
I hope you've gotten that out of your system. I hope you've gotten that out of your system. I hope you've gotten that out of your... I hope you've gotten that out of your...
Okay. That's interesting. Alright, let's see if we're ready for this tower yet. I feel like there are vampires that you can fight, so it's not that we can't destroy a vampire. What's this skeleton doing here? Is that a glitch? It's just standing there. The massive stone door of the tower is sealed, and there doesn't appear to be any way of opening it. Okay. I wonder if that means that we have to defeat that specter that was in the crypt. Okay, so because I want to try to level up here before we move any further, I think we should actually move the critical path forward a little bit, and we'll visit the Temple of Woedica. There's two entrances through the catacombs, and there's one right in... Oh, this is the girl. There, that's the nice man who helped me. And thank the Iron Arm for it. We'll get you sorted out at the keep. Okay, so she made it. That's nice. But yeah, I want to go to the Temple of Woedica now. So let's first enter in through the main entrance and see what happens there. That was in... I think it was in First Fires. Yeah, here's the Temple of Woedica down here. Are there any other quests that we should finish up here? So the next one is to go to the Temple of Woedica for the critical path. Anslag's Compass for Commander Cleaver. That's for the Forge Knights. The Lighthouse, which was kind of difficult for us. Need to amass forces for the Battle of Yenwood Field. Need to try to get to the Elder Archives. Palagino's quest. Okay. And then tasks. Find the missing guards, which I did find them. But I didn't actually beat them, so can't say what happened yet because I died when I found them. And then retrieve the stolen scroll. I want to do that to maybe like work my way up and be more well known to the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. But right now, let's go to the Temple of Woedica, see what happens there. Is there going to be a skeleton on every map? Just standing there?
Praise to the exiled queen. May her crown be restored and her justice prevail. Come to pay your respects to the queen that was.
A ghost hovers in the middle of the ruin, reciting blessings and prayers. Even as the spirit form shifts and swirls, it retains the face of an elderly man in robes that mark wealth and status. It turns to you. I'm going to ask, who are you?
Lord Ardwellen Rugford III, and pleased to make your acquaintance. I came to the Deerwood on one of the first ships from Adia, and unlike the yokels and hut dwellers around here, I still keep to the old ways.
It's truly a pity to see what the locals have done to Woedica's house of worship. I was told I'd find the Temple of Woedica here.
And so you did. These savage colonists may have burned it down, but worship of the Oathbinder is alive and well. These stairs lead to the main sanctum.
Oathbinder is a reference to Woedica, the goddess Woedica. What stairs?
These stairs, of course. The sanctum was always below ground, adjacent to the catacombs, so it wasn't destroyed by the fires.
When he said these stairs, of course, it says the ghost gestures to an impassable pile of rubble. Like the rest of the ruin, it seems to have remained untouched for over a century. Tell me where I'd find an entrance to these catacombs.
There are various entrances throughout Defiance Bay, but I dare say the easiest to reach is in Copper Lane. I haven't been to that part of town in ages, but as I recall, it's somewhere near the southern gate.
Right, we already know where that is. What are you doing?
Worshipping Woedica, the exiled queen and Oathbinder. I come every day to offer my devotion. I'd love nothing more than to book passage back to Adia, but it is my Emperor's wish that I serve in these barbaric lands.
This ghost,
and so I do.
This ghost obviously has no idea that it's dead. I'd like to know more about Woedica.
A queen among the gods. She oversees laws and oaths. Everything has a rightful place, and Woedica watches over them all. Of course, not everyone accepts this. Even among the other gods, her authority is questioned. But Woedica is also goddess of memory and vengeance, and she remembers. She'll remember every slight and trespass when she reclaims her throne.
So this idea then that Woedica is just taking back what's rightfully hers. You know that you're a ghost, right? Let's do that.
I beg your pardon? Is this some sort of joke where you come from?
I'm serious. Just look at yourself.
A madhouse. That's what this town really needs.
Okay, yeah. Unwilling to hear that he's a ghost as well. Goodbye. Weeds grow thick and full, untroubled by the passage of Kith, suggesting that nobody comes down here anymore. This looks like it was a staircase at some point, that he was saying it was a staircase, but is now an impassable pile of rubble. Okay, so we already know where to go. So we're going to head over to Copper Lane, to the catacombs there. We found the entrance to the Temple of Woedica in there. What's this? Oh, that's weird. It didn't get me on the way there. A red-faced young man approaches you. He appears livid and stammers as he speaks. You! You killed my beloved. This will not stand. Your beloved? What are you talking about? The man's face darkens. Dana and I were to be wed. You will pay for your insolence. Do I remember Dana? Is that the person from the dozens that we killed? I don't know. Who are these people? They're just bodyguards.
Word.
This year, just kind of walking through the battle here. Thanks. Okay. No mention of Dana. I wonder if there's a way to find her. Nope, nothing there. From my own notes. Okay. Been looking one more place. So there was. It was the job that I had to do to get beyond his notes. No, it doesn't say a name there. I don't remember who Dana is. I have to look that up. Actually, let me do that now. So Dana is Dana Doemenel, the woman who came after us at the Valiant embassy. Okay.
Of course.
Yes, I did kill her. All right, heading to the catacombs. Here's the entrance to the temple. Hopefully I tripped all the traps in here, because I think I went through here not in scouting mode. Way back when I was getting annoyed at not finding traps. Because of how I'm doing this, if you told me at some point in like session 12 or whatever, if you commented that I just needed to use scouting mode, I will not have seen it, because as I record this is session 27, but I haven't actually even released session 12 yet, so that's just the way that I'm doing that. I'm releasing them twice a week, but I'm playing a lot more than that, especially since I am a teacher, which means I am off for the summer, so I have a lot of time to actually record and do some of these sessions, but I don't want to just release them all in bunches. So if you have done that at some point, first of all, I thank you. But second of all, I know that it seems like maybe I wasn't listening to you as I went forward. It's just because I hadn't actually seen it at that point. Okay, so we're in a new area. Let's go into scouting mode. What's going on over here? Nothing. Okay. Investigate the Leaden Key's activities. Older robed man. So this is the guy that we saw way back at the beginning of the game in Silent Lys. He used that machine, which I think created the Beowix, and it took the souls of the 3 followers that he was standing amongst, and that was when we got our Watcher powers. In front of you looms the ghostly, hollow image of the man who was present at your awakening. He casts a pale, sickly light in the dank corridor as he regards you.
You are from Kratu, my boy.
His words are an echo in your mind from a time long past. and you know your response before you speak it, as if it has always been. So this seems to be a previous soul that is speaking now. I came to live there years ago.
A remarkable city. Truly one of the most impressive we have encountered outside of our own. Many exceptional people who have joined our cause come from Kraytoon. What made you decide to join our order?
So this is kind of me and not me at the same time. I went through dark times. Nothing made sense. That all changed when your order came to my homeland.
Little makes sense in the false contexts much of the world has lived under for so long. It is by the mercy of the gods that our faith has been able to reach so many of the heathen in more recent times. Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
I am. Okay, so seeing visions of soul's past life, I think. The mercenary eyes you warily as you approach, his weapon readied. What are you doing here? You don't look like one of that masked lot. It's his half-mage. What's going on here? Since you don't know, you clearly don't belong here. The guard whistles sharply, and you hear shouts of alarm in the distance. Uh-oh. Shouts of alarm in the distance. Oh, come on, turrets. What is happening here? Shouts of alarm in the distance.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea, which is not very quiet.
See now what the flame has shown us?
Ugh, Jesus. Even when I'm in scouting mode. That didn't do much to me, though. It's a weak trap.
That's settled.
Spellword amulet. I wonder what the point of this little room is. You think you hear the faint sound of whispering coming from the skulls, but the words are unintelligible. Is that it in here? Except for past the guards there.
Keeping an eye out.
You know, everyone's on the lookout for us. I think these guys are going to be too difficult. Prince is stuck way back there.
I have them!
They are chewing some white leaf.
Of course.
So, this glitch, there's just a random skeleton on every map. Kind of annoying. Hopefully that's not there for the rest of the game. Is this like a... Are these wizards or priests?
You're not getting...
Get off!
Leap! Leap!
No cap. Is that another drug? Yes, it is.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Binding copper. These tight coils of gleaming copper are typically found in conjunction with Audra, where they affect peculiar changes. So copper and Audra are both known to be like conductors of soul energy. A primal rock. A chiseled portion of rock, slate gray and pocked with gleaming minerals. When set on the ground, it floats a small distance above the earth. Let's head up here first.
And the fire shows me something new.
A fine rod, a scroll of protection, copper ponds. Nice.
Nice and quiet.
Initiate. I missed what he was saying. By the deeds of my tongue, and oh, that's not it. Oh, that's like some kind of password to get in.
I'll see what I can find.
Book lies on the table, its pages filled with some kind of unintelligible cryptography.
A simple test. Settled.
Queen that was and still is, we've read that. Did I get like a note from this initiate or anything? Falters and brings a hand to his forehead. He takes a staggering step forward, coughing and sputtering.
Back, ye clod! Those hooded fiends are nigh to be trusted!
Probably not, but that's no reason to be Kana glances over at Aloth and frowns. Aloth, are you unwell? So this is the awakened soul in Aloth that's speaking. He grimaces, catching his breath. It's nothing, I'm fine, he coughs again. This probably isn't the best place to linger anyhow.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
Shrouded man. Shrouded woman, shrouded man, shrouded man. This is once again behind everybody. Does he have a separate weapon?
Leave it to me.
Good shot.
Deer's not looking good. There.
Can't get a good shot with this.
Whoa.
Stand together. Stand together.
Where did
Shrouded woman. Crumpled at your feet lies the body of a woman. She wears a dark robe that bears an insignia resembling a key. As you approach the woman's body, feelings of rage assault you. The dead woman's voice howls in your ears, and her lingering consciousness rends at yours. Her essence tingles through your bones and membranes. It fills the spaces between your ears and behind your eyes, clawing deeper into your core. You see a gathering of men and women wearing robes like hers, their faces hidden behind masks. One by one they approach her, whom they know as an acolyte, and she places her hand on each of their foreheads, searching their thoughts. She tests them with ritualistic questions, and they answer that their oath is sealed by the leaden key. She asks them of their tasks. She gives them new ones, all without a word. Try to see the tasks. Her essence flares, fighting to boil your blood, burn your memory, and splinter your bones from within. Yet between its strikes, you see flashes of something else, a tower, a prisoner, and a ruin. You funnel all of your concentration into a single effort of will, a sharp point that pins the raging soul in place of an insect in a display case. With the thing under control, you're able to examine it and the three thoughts swirling inside. Examine the thought about the tower. You see a palimpsest of a neighborhood. Run-down estates are cobbled around a cemetery and an ancient tower. Sounds like Heritage Hill. Savage shapes prowl the streets, and in the tower a man hunches over a strange mechanism. You can't see him clearly, but there's something unnatural about him. Somewhere nearby you see a woman with a scar over her heart. You understand that she has something he needs. A woman with a scar over her heart. You also see a door at the base of the tower, a seemingly impenetrable slab of stone and copper. But then, the acolyte reveals the invisible split between the perfectly matched halves, and you understand how the copper veins convert a command into action. You know how to open the door. Oh, so we can get into that tower now. Inquire about the prisoner. In your mind, you see a building, magnificent with trellises and tiles, and located in a pristine boulevard. The wealthy and learned stroll in and out, trading knowledge and coin. I'm guessing Brackenberry? Yet it also houses misery and madness. Somewhere with his rotten core sits a man, his hair matted but his eyes alert. He watches and waits, a prisoner by choice. Look into the ruins. The acolyte's vision takes you out of Defiance Bay into a town in the wilderness with a watermill. A signpost on one of the paths reads Deerford. Several figures huddled together, shrouded in cloaks and hoods. An image of ruin suddenly looms in your mind. Two skeletal effigies flank a cleft in a mountainside. Back away. So we have our three places to go next. We have the tower in Heritage Hill. We have the place of misery and madness, which I'm going to guess is the sanitarium. And we have Deerford Village. I'm realizing that the Watcher thing is here to provide a cool kind of gameplay mechanic, but also it allows people to die, and we can still get information from people who are dead, because I feel like if we had said something different to the guards at the temple here, maybe we would have just been able to walk in here and talk to people instead. I don't know that for sure, but we might have been able to just talk and get this information rather than fight our way through and get information from the dead people. We have a lead key covered in dark blue-hued patina. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Whether by design or by consequence of the sputtering candlelight, the hooded statue's face is almost impossible to see. Oh, we should be doing
I'll
this.
take a look.
Devotees have placed assorted keys, their teeth filed away among the rinnels of the wax. Secret passage. Torque of Defiance. The Steward of Cadnua has received a letter for you. New quest, Durgan's Battery. I believe that's the White March expansion. Oh, we actually made our way out of here. Interesting.
A moment, please. I feel I should explain myself.
Let's talk to the ghost and then to Allah. Nothing new from the ghost.
About my episode in the catacombs, there's something I should have told you earlier.
So tell me now. He clasps his hands together, slowly massaging a knuckle with his thumb. I meant no harm. I thought I could keep it to myself. That when we resolve the matter of your soul, we would also address my problem.
I also have an awakened soul. But unlike yours, mine is a presence that shares my senses and my skin, making herself manifest at the most unwelcome times.
So that means it's a particularly powerful soul that is within Aloth. He closes his eyes and grits his teeth. His lips quiver and twitch with the vestiges of some internal debate. Several seconds later, he opens his eyes again. They're watery and bloodshot.
I'm sorry. I've tried to learn to control Isilmir. I've gotten stronger, but so has she.
Isilmir must be the name of the soul. Tell me about Isilmir.
Artless, uncouth, a creature of rash impulses and feeble faculties. She wags her impertinent tongue when she should listen. Aye, this one's fit to boil. Hard to get this gaff over anything tisn't to do with books and spell speak.
That would be Isilmir. He grimaces, running his hands through his hair. I have none of her memories. Bareth spared me that. But her coarse manners and intolerable hill-speak suggest a provincial from a very, very long time ago. She tends to surface a hair's breadth from conflict when the fuse is burned down and teeth are on edge, and when she shows up, she doesn't stop to gauge the situation. She just acts. She seems reckless. That's it exactly. You recall the way she goaded those villagers. Sorry, I wasn't doing my Aloth voice. That's it exactly. You recall the way she goaded these villagers in Gilded Vale? She doesn't think, and she doesn't back down. And trying to suppress that has been my problem for years. Why didn't you say something sooner?
I learned to keep her a secret a very long time ago. Those with awakened souls are shunned, mistrusted. And after your experience with Meowald, I'm certain you can see why. You need to be careful.
Is this going to be a problem?
Merely an annoyance. Although...
He lowers his voice and clasps his hands behind his back. Minute twitches and spasms along his arms betray his fidgeting.
Defiance Bay is said to have an entire institution dedicated to the study and cure of soul-related ailments. Since our journeys have already brought us to the city, perhaps we could speak with someone there.
If it's helpful to you, we'll go.
Thank you. This has been a great burden.
Let's talk about something else. I'd like to know more about Isilmir. Such as, when did she awaken? My father was a strict man. He expected the best from his only child, and he didn't tolerate failure. His face becomes drawn. At times he could be rather adamant, particularly when he'd been drinking. Isilmir manifested on one such occasion. To be honest, I don't remember the specifics, only that he was more careful with me after that. You said that you'd learned to hide her a long time ago? My mother instructed me to keep her a secret after she first emerged. She feared that knowledge of my awakening would render me an outcast. Even though Isilmir proved useful against my father, I trusted my mother's advice, and I've since come to see the wisdom behind it. Merwald is an extreme example, but one that I can relate to more and more each year. Could I talk directly to her? He gives you a taut frown. Her usurpations are uncomfortable enough. I'm not eager to invite her into my consciousness more than necessary. Let's discuss something else. Indeed. That's all. Find an expert on awakenings somewhere in Defiance Bay. I'm going to guess that person will be in the sanitarium. There's our skeleton friend up there. So yeah, we just went through the Temple of Woedica, killed some of the people there. I guess they are called the Leaden Key, which we are going to learn a lot more. We got our next quests. We have 3 different places to go: Heritage Hill, Deerford Village, and the Brackenbury Sanitarium. And I think that's going to be it for this session. So thank you so much for joining me. As always, let me know if there's anything you'd like me to focus on in future sessions. Although, as I said earlier, I'm recording these way in advance, so if I do hear that, then I won't get to it for a while. Maybe I'll get to it anyway, but if it's something that I wasn't planning on focusing on, then I might not get to it for a while. But I do plan on getting to it. So, yeah. As always, thank you for watching. Hope to see you again in session 27. And yeah, looking forward to that. Bye, everybody.